And we'll do it live. We'll do it live. So Trump, Mike Waltz. So the Mike Waltz guy is the narrative seems to be turning for the better with regard to Mike Waltz. Although all day long, people have been getting it wrong in Republican media about Mike Waltz. Literally all day long, the Republican media has been getting it 100% wrong about Mike Waltz, but it's starting to change. It's just now starting to turn. And people are starting to realize that Mike Waltz is a mole and that Mike Waltz is a traitor and that Mike Waltz orchestrated this whole thing and that Mike Waltz is trying to sabotage the Trump administration from the inside. And people are just now starting to realize that. But they haven't been realizing it all day, but they're just now starting to realize it, which gives me hope that there are some people in the Trump administration with half of a brain, because they should have figured this out within 2 seconds. They should have, the thing is, people, they want to give people the benefit of the doubt. And so the first initial reaction that everybody had when they found out that Mike Waltz did this was to circle the wagons and protect the cabinet, right? The problem with that is they're protecting the guy that just burned him, and they didn't realize that. They're protecting the guy that just burned him, and it's every single media channel, every Republican media channel has been circling the wagons all day long, when really Mike Waltz orchestrated this whole thing. The other thing that proves that, which is getting really obvious, is that they're questioning members of the Trump cabinet before the Congress, and they're asking them about Pete Hegseth, and was Pete Hegseth drunk, and Pete Hegseth this and Pete Hegseth that, but they're not asking about Mike Waltz. As far as I've heard, I haven't really paid close attention to it. But Mike Waltz is the one that orchestrated it. Mike Waltz is the one that sent this to Jeffrey Goldberg. So literally, Mike Waltz has Jeffrey Goldberg in his phone, puts this whole thing together, and causes the whole thing. But the Congress, the Democrats in the Congress, are asking about Pete Hegseth. Get it? Now, the other thing I find interesting is that the way some of the media channels have been pushing it is it just says Trump admin did this. The Trump admin, not Mike Waltz did this, but the Trump admin, and then they show a picture of Pete Hegseth. So you can see how this has been orchestrated. And we need to help Trump and the Trump admin. And so I really hope that Dan Bongino watches my videos. Dan Bongino, who I criticize. And I really hope that the Trump admin watches this video, or that people just start talking about, and people, like, literally, it's so painful for me to sit and listen to the Trump admin themselves defend Mike Waltz and what happened, when Mike Waltz is the one burning them. Like, you're being burned by this guy, and then you circle the wagons and like, hey, take it easy on Mike Waltz. No, Mike Waltz just burned you. He's burning you. So even InfoWars, the conspiracy king, Alex Jones, gets it wrong. Now, I haven't tuned into Alex Jones, but I just opened up his website. This is all I've heard so far. I just want to hear this.
The facts. The National Security Advisor has taken responsibility for this matter, and the National Security Council immediately said, alongside the White House counsel's office, that they are looking into how a reporter's number was inadvertently added.
Inadvertently. See, that's the key word. Inadvertently. Why are you assuming that it was done inadvertently? Because Mike Waltz says so? See, you don't know that it was done inadvertently. So they're still not saying what I'm saying, which is that Mike Waltz did this on purpose because Mike Waltz is a mole and Mike Waltz is trying to sabotage the Trump administration. That's what I'm saying. Now, she just used the word inadvertently, which means it was a mistake. This is how they run. This is the game they run on you always, every day, for years and years, my whole life. They've been running this game called "It was a mistake." We're just incompetent. We don't know what we're doing. It was a mistake. They've been doing this my whole life. So let's take a look at let's see what else she has to say.
This messaging thread. We have said all along that no classified material was sent on this messaging thread. There were no locations, no sources or methods revealed, and there were certainly no war plans discussed. The Atlantic has even admitted this themselves. Their release of these internal messages validates the truth, which we have been saying all along. If this story proves anything, it proves that Democrats and their propagandists in the mainstream media know how to fabricate, orchestrate, and disseminate a misinformation campaign quite well.
It doesn't just prove that. See, you're blaming the Democrats when Mike Waltz is in your administration. Mike Waltz caused this, right? That's the problem. Let's continue.
And there's arguably no one in the media who loves manufacturing and pushing hoaxes more than Jeffrey Goldberg. Goldberg is an anti-Trump hater. He is a registered Democrat. Goldberg's wife is also a registered Democrat and a big Democrat donor who used to work under who? Hillary Clinton. This is the same Jeffrey Goldberg who...
Okay, that's all fine and good. But the problem is Mike Waltz. See, Mike Waltz is the one who sent that information to Jeffrey Goldberg, which means Jeffrey Goldberg is in Mike Waltz's phone, and Mike Waltz is coordinating with Jeffrey Goldberg. You see how that's the problem? Trump administration? Somebody needs to let the Trump administration know how this works. That's the problem. The problem isn't Jeffrey Goldberg. Jeffrey Goldberg is Jeffrey Goldberg. The problem is Mike Waltz sent him all this information. The problem is Mike Waltz is coordinating with him to sabotage the Trump administration. But you're talking about Jeffrey Goldberg and Hillary Clinton. See, you guys need to get your act together real fast. Let's hear what else she has to say.
Infamously lied about weapons of mass destruction to get us into the Iraq.
Okay, none of that matters right now. What matters is Mike Waltz is running a game on you, lady. Let's listen.
War, which cost trillions of dollars and thousands of American soldiers, and how
it says here, no, the InfoWars put this up. The Atlantic Trump exposer also helped misreport America's way into Iraq war. Oh, this doesn't matter. See, they want to talk about Jeffrey Goldberg. The problem is Mike Waltz.
How else has Goldberg discredited himself? By absurdly claiming that President Trump was Vladimir Putin during the 2016 campaign.
None of that matters right now, lady. I don't even know why she's saying that. This is why the Trump administration needs help. And here's the thing. I'm not allowed on Twitter. You know who's allowed on Twitter? Mike Waltz. I'm not allowed on Twitter. Mike Waltz is actively sabotaging the Trump administration. He has a Twitter account. I'm here trying to tell you the truth. I don't have a Twitter. I can't go on Twitter. I can't talk to anybody on X or Twitter. I'm blocked. Okay? When I make a video on YouTube, it doesn't go anywhere because everything's restricted, right? Mike Waltz is trying to sabotage the Trump admin. Elon Musk took me off of Twitter and lets all these other people on that basically lie to you every day. That's frustrating. It's very frustrating. Let's listen to what else. And here we have the Trump admin going on about Jeffrey Goldberg and Hillary Clinton and the Iraq war. It's like, dude, Mike Waltz is the one who's running this game on you. Did you fire him yet? Or are you still playing patty cake? You guys are like really, really being lame. Let's continue. We got to hear what else she has to say.
Peddling the Russia hoax that tried to hijack President Trump's first term by inventing the suckers and losers hoax to help Joe Biden in the 2020 election.
What does that have to do with Mike Waltz sending him information, lady? Nothing.
By peddling a hoax about President Trump involving Gold Star families.
I'm going to have to skip ahead. This is just, I can't, this is excruciating. It's excruciating. And she's a nice lady. I'm not saying she's not. I like her. I just wish these people would wake up and realize what planet they're on. It's not Hillary Clinton doing this to you. It's not even Jeffrey Goldberg. Jeffrey Goldberg just sat there and had the information sent to him by Mike Waltz. Mike Waltz did this to you. And he did it to you on purpose. That's how this works. They do it on purpose. And then they pretend like they're just these innocent little babies. And they just don't know what they're doing. and it's called the incompetence game, where they pretend like they're incompetent. You think the head of the national security doesn't know what he's doing? He doesn't know what's going on. The head of Trump's national security agency doesn't know. Of course he knows. If you think that he's just incompetent and stupid, you're wrong. He's doing this to you on purpose because it's called sabotage. That's what it is. It's sabotage. Now, is this treason, like to the level where Mike Waltz should be arrested and put in prison and maybe tried for treason, which carries a death penalty? I don't know, because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't even know the law. I don't know anything about the law. But he did this during a military operation. I mean, they were running a military operation on behalf of the United States government. And Mike Waltz, who's the national security advisor, sends the information to Jonah Goldberg. And so I'm just asking, because I don't know and I'm not a lawyer, is this treason? Because isn't this involving military operations? And I mean, if you're actively undermining the United States military during an attack, during a military assault, if you're actively undermining the U.S. military during a military operation where people are putting their lives on the line, isn't that treason? Isn't that treason? And what is the penalty for treason, Donald Trump? What is the penalty for treason? Mike Waltz appears to have committed treason. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm asking you, Donald Trump, has Mike Waltz committed treason? Should he be arrested? Should he be put in prison? Should he be tried for treason? And should he be given the penalty for treason to the full extent of the law? President Trump, I'm asking you. You're the head of the executive branch of the government. I voted for you 3 times. I'm trying to help you. I'm not allowed on X. Elon Musk took me off X. So I can't communicate on there. And I can't, otherwise I would send you this message on X, but I can't. And I would send it to you, and I'd send it to Tulsi Gabbard, and I would send it to Mike Flynn, and I would send it to, what's the guy, the new FBI director? I would send this to everybody. Mike Flynn, just because I would send him stuff all the time. I would send stuff to people. This is starting back in 2015. See, because I was on X or Twitter back then. I sent them all kinds of stuff. I'm not allowed to talk to you on X. Elon took me off. But now you've got Mike Waltz in there, and he's sabotaging you from the inside. You know how frustrating this is? And now your sweet lady, Caroline Levitt, who I like, she's very nice. She's very pretty. She's very smart. She's very articulate. She handled herself well. She's going on about Hillary Clinton and Russiagate and Jonah Goldberg. Mike Waltz did this to you. That's the person you should be excoriating. Let's continue.
To help Kamala Harris. And
I'm going to have to skip ahead. This is ridiculous. Okay, let's see if Alex Jones has figured this out yet, or if he's still worried about, DMT lizards or whatever.
Planned signal leak with Trump's war cabinet responding after years of the Houthis firing missiles at our ships.
He's not
and
getting
hitting
it.
some of them and
He doesn't
sinking
get it.
other people's ships.
Alex,
And I wish
you don't get it, bro.
With Iran, they're using the Houthis as a proxy. It goes on and on, but we just can't.
Alex, do you know what just happened? Mike Waltz just contacted Jeffrey Goldberg and sent him all this information. Alex, see, even Alex Jones this is how frustrating. Even Alex Jones, who I know is like one of the smartest people that I know when it comes to this stuff, he doesn't even get it yet. He's still in la la land. Maybe he won't be, because I'm seeing articles now appearing in the press, like this one here. Let's see. I was just looking at some articles that were going in the right direction here. Let me go back. Mike Waltz. Let's see what it says. Let's go back again. Okay, let's listen to Alex Jones for a second.
Sit there and take it. So I understand why Trump has been doing that. And then it becomes this whole issue of Jeffrey Goldberg and how he got on the list and no one knows how. And now they want to have, criminal investigations and special counsels and all this crap. And Trump's just like, okay, it's a mistake, move on. It's not like it's General Milley calling the top Chinese general to say, Trump might nuke.
See how Alex doesn't get it? Do you see what he doesn't get? Alex, so here's what's happening. Because people want Trump to succeed, and I do too, we're circling the wagons. Hey, man, leave him alone. Leave Mike Waltz alone. Mike Waltz works with Jeffrey Goldberg. Mike Waltz is a traitor. Mike Waltz is a mole. Mike Waltz works with Jeffrey Goldberg to sabotage the Trump admin. And here's Alex Jones, who I really like, circling the wagons for the Trump admin and saying, hey, we don't need see what they did is they started going, hey, we should have the left, the Democrat press started saying, we need investigations. No investigations. It's no big deal. No, it is a big deal. Mike Waltz is a mole. Mike Waltz is a traitor. Mike Waltz sent that information on purpose to cause this. And people are starting to get it. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second.
That's treason. But the left love that. Or Colonel Vidman lying about a bunch of stuff, getting caught. Deep state strikes again. Obama appointed Judge Boasberg assigned to signal chat lawsuit involving Pete Hegseth and Representative Mike Waltz by this liberal watchdog.
Now, notice how they're blaming Pete Hegseth. So now, deep state strikes again. Obama appointed Judge Boasberg assigned to signal chat lawsuit involving Pete Hegseth and Rep. Mike Waltz. What does Pete Hegseth have to do with anything? Pete Hegseth was just talking on the signal chat, which was organized by the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz. The National Security Advisor. Can we just take a look at what this position means? Do people really understand what this is? National Security Advisor. This isn't like dog catcher. And Mike Waltz isn't. Okay, look. What is this? The National Security Advisor serves as the principal advisor to the President of the United States on all national security issues, which means that he is what? He's between the yes. This is exactly what I was getting at. The assistant to the President for National Security Affairs, commonly referred to as the National Security Advisor, is a senior aide in the Executive Office of the President, based in the West Wing of the White House. The National Security Advisor serves as the principal advisor to the President on all national security issues. The National Security Advisor participates in meetings of the National Security Council and usually chairs meetings of the principals of the National Security Council with the Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Security Council. So what he does is he's like a go-between between the President of the United States and it says here, the National Security Council to coordinate defense, foreign affairs, international economic policy, and intelligence. This was part of a large reorganization that saw the creation of the Department of Defense, Central Intelligence Agency. Okay. So here's the point. This position is the position that's basically like the guy who works between the NSA and the CIA and the president. So he's like the connecting person between those groups. So you tell me who's he working for? You tell me who's he actually working for if he's sending information to Jeffrey Goldberg. Who does he really work for? Does he work for Donald Trump, or does he work for somebody against Donald Trump with this cabal with Jeffrey Goldberg? The answer is obvious. So what they've done, though, so far is they've tricked Alex Jones and all the Republican media into circling the wagons and defending Mike Waltz. You're defending Mike Waltz, the guy who works with Jeffrey Goldberg, because you're trying to be loyal and you're trying to be a good guy. And see, this is that you're making a mistake. You're not being a good guy. You're being very stupid. Even though I like you, you're being very stupid.
Oh, great. Well, the documents are already all out. But now, oh, he wants all the documents, all their communications. Oh, to see if they violated the Records Act. It was Biden said use Signal.
Okay, so now see how Biden has nothing to do with it. Hillary Clinton has nothing to do with this. Jeffrey Goldberg does because he got sent the info, but he got it sent. See, things are caused. People cause things. Mike Waltz caused this. And then you think that Mike Waltz did this on accident. See, why do you believe that? Because Mike Waltz said so. Mike Waltz said it was an accident. Oops, sorry. See, Mike Waltz said that. And so now you believe Mike Waltz. Why do you believe Mike Waltz? Because you're gullible. You're gullible and you're naive. And you are being stupid if you believe Mike Waltz. Mike Waltz did this to sabotage the Trump admin. Mike Waltz is working inside the Trump administration as a mole to disrupt things. That's what the National Security Council is doing. That's what Mike Waltz is doing. Now, there's some articles that are coming out which are pretty good. Here's one from CBS News, which I find interesting. Jeffrey Goldberg not commenting on his relationship with Mike Waltz. That's CBS News. Now, here's the way, I haven't read the article, but here's the way I assume they're going to spin it. That Jeffrey Goldberg isn't commenting on it because he feels it doesn't have to, because he's a journalist. And the idea is that this is just throwing more confusion into the mix. Some foolish people are going to continue to side with Mike Waltz and assume that Mike Waltz is their buddy and assume that Mike Waltz is on their team. He's not. He's not on your team. He's on their team. He just screwed you, man. He just screwed you. And now you still haven't figured it out. It's day 3 or whatever. And you're still spinning your wheels. And so what else we got? We got Politico says Trump changes his tune on Signalgate. I always thought it was Mike. That's a good report. That's a report in the right direction. I haven't gone through this report. I don't know much about Politico, but it looks to me like maybe Trump is starting to realize what happened. Maybe he is understanding what happened. Alex Jones doesn't. It's day 3. Alex Jones doesn't.
Which I said, don't use it. It's got backdoors in it. The Atlantic releases full Signal message chain, and it's underwhelming. Yeah, I read it. It's actually overwhelming how they're debating, they're arguing, they're not all agreeing, and they do agree. You got J.D. Vance in there saying he doesn't think it's a good idea. Trying to de-escalate war. I kind of agree with him more than Trump. But we elected him, and overall, he's doing a great job. He's our commander-in-chief. So it's refreshing.
Yeah, that's all good. That's all fine and good. That's not even the problem. The problem is Mike Waltz. Mike Waltz is the problem, right? Having Mike Waltz in there is like having AOC in there. The difference is Mike Waltz is white and Mike Waltz is a Green Beret and Mike Waltz is Special Forces. So you trust him because it's a confidence game and you have confidence in Mike Waltz because he's a white guy and he was a Green Beret and he's Special Forces. And so you trust him because you're a fool. You're a fool. You're a fool. That's why. You've been fooled. You've been tricked. You've been conned. It's a con game. And I want you to, I'm trying to help you, Donald Trump and the Trump admin. I'm trying to help you. Maybe you could tell Elon to not ban my X account so that I could communicate with you a little more easier. Because I put out a YouTube video and it doesn't go anywhere. I have some people that watch it. And I appreciate that. I appreciate everyone who watches my videos, but I don't get a lot of views and my views are suppressed. And I know that, and I know with every video, I know that they're going to be. I expect it. I don't expect anything else. I'm just saying, who are you really hurting? Well, you're hurting everybody. You are hurting me because because if you don't understand that Mike Waltz is a mole and he's sabotaging your whole government, he's trying to, and you're going to keep going on this road, it's slowing everything down. Things could move a lot faster. Things could be a lot more effective. We could actually get the show on the road if Elon Musk wasn't taking away my X account, and not just my X account, but everybody else out there who's saying the truth about what's going on all kinds of issues. See, Elon Musk purged a lot of people from X that voted for you to shut them up. Why? I don't even know. For some Indians that are working in the tech department. See, this is the kind of stupid stuff that needs to be rooted out. See, Elon Musk said we need to be rooted out. He said we need to be rooted out of the Republican Party. Mike Waltz is sitting in the Trump admin, undermining it, sabotaging it, sending text messages of critical information about war plans to Jeffrey Goldberg. I believe that's treason. I believe that I may disagree. I do disagree with a lot of the things that the U.S. military is doing. But if you're talking about you're working inside the executive branch of the government while they're giving out orders to carry out a military operation, and you release that to Jeffrey Goldberg, that to me sounds like a serious, serious crime. So who just downplayed it? Alex Jones. Why? Because Alex Jones is trying to be loyal to Trump. And he thinks being loyal to Trump is circling the wagons for Mike Waltz, the guy that just sabotaged everybody. See, these people are not incompetent. They're not incompetent at all. They're very good at sabotaging you. They're very good at tricking you. They're very good at conning you. Confidence game. See, Alex Jones, when he gave this report, still has confidence in Mike Waltz, even after what just happened. Not analyzing, not clearly analyzing what just happened. Sometimes it's difficult. I think that over time, people like Alex Jones, maybe another day or so, will figure out what just happened. It actually is a thing where, because we're good people, we like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And sometimes the timing on that, 3-4 days go by before you realize what happened. Sometimes weeks go by. Sometimes years go by. Sometimes decades go by before you realize what happened. See, that's the problem. We don't have that much time. We don't have time to waste on this bullshit Mike Waltz and his little operations that he's running against. Can you imagine you go to these meetings and the president's there and these other people that have all been chosen by the president who was elected in a landslide by the American people, and you're in there to sabotage them? How do these people go to a meeting with you again? How does Tulsi Gabbard and Pete Hegseth and all these other people in the cabinet, how do they continue to trust you? They shouldn't. Mike Waltz. They should trust Donald Trump. Donald Trump didn't cause this. Mike Waltz did. Pete Hegseth didn't cause it. And I've criticized Pete Hegseth on a lot of things because I think Zionism is a stupid religion, and I think it's anti-Christ and it's heretical. I think he's a heretic, but he didn't do anything wrong in the situation with regard to his job. With regard to his job, he didn't do anything wrong. Mike Waltz did this. Mike Waltz caused this. Mike Waltz working with Jeffrey Goldberg. Mike Waltz working with all these entities that want to sabotage Trump admin. And notice how they're attacking Pete Hegseth over this. So that's one of the big things I noticed. In fact, I've got an article right here by The Atlantic, and it's got this picture. It says, the Trump administration accidentally texted me its war plans. See, he didn't say Mike Waltz sent me the war plans. He said the Trump admin. So that right there is one layer of opaqueness, kind of not being clear on exactly who sent it. Now, in this picture, you've got a meeting here, and it's the focused person in the picture is Pete Hegseth. The blurred out people include Mike Waltz and other people in the room, right? So the focus in this imagery from the Atlantic is on Pete Hegseth, whereas Mike Waltz's fuzzy, the camera is not in focus on him. It's on focus on Pete Hegseth. So it's such a little subversive little brainwash operation that these scumbags do, that Mike Waltz is involved with the Atlantic. It's just when you read the article, see the average person, low IQ, barely literate, on lots of drugs, including stuff they get from the pharmacy, sees this. They've been watching CNN or MSNBC all day, and then they look at this article from the Atlantic, and it says the Trump administration, which means Donald Trump, sent the information, accidentally texted me its war plans. And then the focus of the image in the picture that you're looking at is on Pete Hegseth. You see how subversive that is? Do you see how subversive these people are? They're degenerates. They are perverts. They are subversives. They are scum. They are trash. Alex Jones is making a big mistake because he doesn't see it clearly yet. Hopefully he does. Hopefully he sees this video. I doubt he will. Not enough people will. I hope the president sees it. I doubt that he will. I'm not allowed on Twitter. I'm not allowed on X.
You can read it all. It's up on Infowars.com. Trump officials face records lawsuit over signal chat.
Okay. Well, why not? Why not? See, Alex is trying to downplay it. No, man, don't downplay it. Upplay it. Go after Mike Waltz. Excoriate Mike Waltz. Arrest Mike Waltz. Mike Waltz belongs in a supermax prison. Mike Waltz belongs in a supermax prison. I don't want to put people in prison. I don't. They do that to people. That's what Mike Waltz team does. I hate it. I don't think anybody belongs in prison, actually. How about this? No more prisons. No more walled prisons. It's just torture. That's what it is. So no, don't put him in prison. Put him in a work camp. Make him work all day. That's okay. That's humane. They put these people in prisons, which is torture. They literally, anytime you're in a prison, you are being tortured. Prison is torture. Solitary confinement is torture, and they torture people all the time. You have a whole structure of government involved in the torture of human beings. It's all run by the federal government and the state governments and the county governments and the city government. It's a massive human torture operation, and that's part of the reason why the society is so sick and unable to think. And that's why we have people like Mike Waltz in the government, scum, traitors like Mike Waltz, working with Jeffrey Goldberg in the Atlantic and these other garbage, subhuman trash people that are in the government and in the CIA and in the FBI and the Department of Justice doing. Well, now the CIA, FBI, and Department of Justice are under Trump, which is good. And I think he's got some good people leading that. But for ages, it's been pretty bad. Anyway, I hope it gets better. And I hope people realize what Mike Waltz is doing. Let's hurry up here. Okay, it's been a few days. Let's get over our circle the wagons bullshit and realize that this guy is not on our team. He's on their team, and he's doing this on purpose. And so he needs to be arrested, at least put in a work camp, because I don't believe in torturing people in walled prison. So work camp, I think that's sufficient. If I was evil, if I was a total degenerate scumbag, I would say put him in solitary confinement until he is charged with treason and then given the full penalty of the law. But I don't want to do that because I love the Logos and I love Jesus Christ. When you love the Logos, you have to have some empathy for human beings, even when they're garbage, like Mike Waltz. Torturing people with prison it's actually bad for your own soul. So yeah, I'm just not for that. Although that's what Mike Waltz does to people. So, but he should be arrested and he should be charged and he should be put in a work camp where he's forced to work all day because that's what he deserves for treason, in my opinion. I think that's a good, 20 years in a work camp for Mike Waltz for treason, for undermining the executive branch of the government during a military operation. Even if I disagree with the military operation, because I've disagreed with a lot of this stuff. Yeah, but he works in the administration and he was part of that. And all those people that are involved in that military operation, he's putting their lives in jeopardy by doing shit like this. So Mike Waltz did commit treason. And the penalty for treason is quite severe. I don't even want to say because it's YouTube. But meanwhile, I'm not allowed to communicate on X. Elon Musk took away my thing. I have to sit here and make these videos, which I love to do. I'm glad you're watching. But, I can't just talk to otherwise I would just be I could easily, if I was on X, I could send information to Donald Trump. I could send information to Alex Jones. I could send information to Tulsi Gabbard like that, but I can't. So anyway, people need to help Donald Trump, get him this information, tell him what's going on. Mike Waltz is a mole. Signing out.